All right, Ren, it is time for...
This is Pimp My Portfolio. Pimp My Portfolio.
That's it. Pimp My Portfolio, where we bring in an expert and a community member and get their portfolio pimped. And we have with us today Adam Dawes. Adam, welcome.
Well, great to be here, guys. Thanks so much.
And on the other side, we have community member James. James, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you for submitting your portfolio today. Cannot wait to get into this one. So, Ren, take us through it. What is James's portfolio?
Yeah, so James's portfolio, I guess, is anchored by the Vanguard Australian Shares High Yield ETF. About 38% of his portfolio is in that. Then there's a few other thematic ETFs. We've got the BetaShares Asia Tech ETF, Global X Uranium, and VanEck Video Gaming and Esports. And then after that, we've got 5 individual stocks, Archer Materials, Lewin Materials, MinRes, Mineral Resources, Panoramic Resources, and Vital Metals. So a bit of a tilt towards the resources sector in the individual stocks. But Dawsy, over to you. How are you thinking about this?
Well, I'm calling this the tech resource portfolio.
Nice.
And look, it does look like there's been a little bit of thought being put into it. But James, what's the sort of outline for your investments in these stocks?
Yeah, it's there's a bit of thought, but it's a bit of a mess.
That's why you're here, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, firstly, thank you to Bryce and Ren for starting me on the journey, but also don't take my pathway as a reflection on the education that you guys provide.
Good. I'm glad you put that disclaimer in.
Yeah. I suppose I started my investing journey sometime around 2020 when I was trying to buy a house. COVID hit, and I thought, great, house prices will go down, but they didn't. And so I shelved that idea and started diving into individual stock investing because there were some companies out there that looked undervalued. So that went well. This portfolio looked completely different at that point in time. And I probably got overconfident and started investing in small cap miners and other odd investments. And eventually bought a house, sold out of a bunch of other shares, and I'm left holding on to some assets that didn't perform that I'm holding out hope on.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can see that by some of the stocks in there that you've sort of held on. I mean, that Archer Materials was a fantastic stock back in the day. You're sort of still hanging on to the loss on that one?
Yeah, that one. Vital Metals is another one that was going really well from when I first invested. And reached some peaks, and I didn't sell at the time, and now I'm sort of holding on still, feeling as though there's value in the companies, but don't know how long it'll take to ever recognise it.
So having a trading plan or having an investment plan is really, really important when you're looking at these things. And certainly when you've got some downside protection. So if something is going to fall, whether it's a 10%, 20% stop loss or 50% stop loss, you've got to have some rules that go around that. From there, also on the upside, you should potentially also take profits, 10%, 50%, 100% when you do have those. And a lot of time with the smaller portfolios, what I do for clients is that if we've made 100%, so in other words, the stock goes from $5 to $10, you take out your original investment, okay? You let the profit run. So if that profit goes to $20, you've doubled, tripled your money, fantastic. But if it goes to zero, you haven't actually lost anything because you've taken out your original investment. You take out that original investment, put it into something else, and let that grow again as well. And this is where you can build out a portfolio going forward. But I do like some of the international side of things. You've got the BetaShares Tech Giants. You've got the VanEck Video Gaming, the Esports one. Now that's like I mean, we all know that esports, especially after COVID, the betting on esports was fantastic, and it gets more than an NFL game gets to people watching, Fortnite or some of these other games. So I think that's a really good thematic ETF that you've got there. I do like Mineral Resources because it's got the new and the old. It's got the iron ore, plus it's got the lithium side of things. So I think you're doing well there. But to bring this out, I think what you need to do is have a little bit of a structure around the portfolio. And really, you've got your core versus satellite. You've got your Vanguard Australian shares. I think that's great. So that could be potentially your core. But I would build that out more. I would have bigger stocks, maybe looking in the top 200 and looking to sort of build that out. We don't have any financials in here. We don't have any property stocks in here. And we don't have any sort of income generating. But most of the stocks, what I would do for you is that you would look for dividend reinvestment as well. So in other words, if they do pay a dividend, you would get that reinvested back into the company for your portfolio to continue to grow. And I think that's the key, is trying to get this portfolio up again after you've sold down probably all the good stocks and you've sort of kept some of those ones that are nursing some losses.
So, Dawesy, could that be achieved, though, through the VHY, the Australian Shares High Yield? Because a lot of those top 200 companies are paying great dividends.
Yes.
So James could just build a bigger position, because that's what I'm hearing you're saying.
Yeah.
You've got these thematic ETFs and a few species, but you're wanting to see more of that core position.
Absolutely. The core position is going to make money day in, day out, rain, hail or shine. It's going to be there. And then we can muck around with some of the speculatives around the outside. That's the fun part. But the boring part is that it's going to continue to grow and generate revenue as well as income. But then you're diversified by the Australian Shares High Yield side of things. Yeah. That's the diversification that you need.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can have some speculatives. But I want to see that core portfolio to become a lot larger, because that's where you're going to make the money over 5, 10, 20 years. That's where you're going to get the benefit from it. And then the speculative stuff, some will go to zero, some will go to 1,000 times higher. But at least we've got that core sitting there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, James, I've got a question for you. First of all, congratulations on buying the house. Like, it's no mean feat, so well done. Thank you. When you freed up your money to put the deposit down, why did you sell all the stuff you'd made money on rather than sold the stuff that had fallen off?
Yeah, I'm not sure my psychology in that was right, but I think I'm hanging on to the value that was in those shares. And expecting that at some point in time they'll come back. Without delving into some of the individual reasons around each of those shares as to why they've gone down, I felt like it wasn't impossible for them to recover.
So Dawesy, I'm sure you've come across clients that have a similar mindset.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you counsel them?
Yeah, so I think what you've got, and in the portfolio, let's talk about Archer Minerals or materials. Like, that used to be a graphite business, okay? And then they've changed into being sort of quantum computing. Now, that has a great ring to it and it has a great story to it, but really, does that mean that it should be invested? A lot of the time, we look at portfolios and you want to, and I'll use a garden analogy, you want to get rid of the weeds but let the flowers grow, right? So the weeds are the ones that aren't doing so well, and you should really be getting out of those, putting that money into something that's going to continue to do better, and then let the flowers grow. So I think a lot of these kind of portfolios is that it's very tough to take a loss. It's tough because you get emotionally attached. But what you should be doing is looking from a clean lens. This hasn't worked. And some people say, well, it's only worth $1,000, so I may as well just let it sit there, right? But that $1,000 can be used somewhere else to then grow to $2,000, to $3,000. And so while that other stock is just sitting there doing nothing, it's time of value of money, and that's where you should be looking, is to get that portfolio, get rid of the weeds, and get it to grow a lot higher.
It's opportunity cost.
Correct.
That's what it is. Like,
Correct.
with limited funds, you own a house. We don't have the ability to just keep pouring money in. So it's like you need to be optimizing the capital that you've got.
Great
and
call.
if it's sitting there at a loss, where it could be in a NASDAQ 100 pumping up 30% in the last 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
James, that brings us to the end. Do you have any final questions for Adam? Otherwise, thank you so much.
No, I think you've answered all my questions. It's I've probably got to bite the bullet and stop being so emotional.
That's a good call.
Hard to do.
It's a challenge we all face, and
Yes.
I don't think it ever gets any easier. So, hopefully this helped, and good luck with it all.
No, it's been great. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Ren, and thank you, Adam.
If you'd like to submit your portfolio to Pimp My Portfolio, head to equitymates.com/contact. Similarly, if you would like to sit down with Adam, we can connect you. So head to equitymates.com/advice and we'll connect you with Adam. But Adam, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah, great to be here.